Tony.
Hey guys, Sam is having some technical issues, so I'm going to step in for a second. Yeah? Hello. Thank you so much for being part of our first day and your films. Love your films. Can we talk a little bit about what made you make those specific films? We'll start with Tony and then go on to Clench. I want to know a little bit of the background of what caused you to make those films and how they tie into the theme for taking power. Because I saw some, but I just want to know where you guys come from. Tony.
Okay. I started writing this when Kanyari was in the news. Remember Kanyari, the pastor who was performing miracles, and then I think John Alanamu did one of those exposés. So that really interested me because I wondered what was Kanyari like before he was Kanyari. When Kanyari was trying to make it, what was his life like? And so that's just started the whole thing, and that's why like his suit is red because Kanyari's suit is red. It's really very Kanyari heavy. So that's where it came from. And taking power, I think, thinking about what Kanyari's life was like before. I mean, how was Kanyari okay taking advantage of people who are in such difficult circumstances? I mean, and him doing so is taking power. But I think it's also taking. I think that's I don't think Kanyari started out being a bad guy. It was Kanyari just trying to survive, and so I think that's what the movie was about. Like it's just this guy who's probably a decent human being who's just forced into a situation, and the choice he makes is not the best one. Because I don't know. I think many people would do bad things if they got to a bad place. So yeah.
Okay. Then my question is, what do you think he was telling himself while he was screwing people over?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if are you always conscious of when you're doing bad things? I don't know. Sometimes it's just like there's one goal ahead of me, get that thing, and maybe when you go back at the last scene when he's shoning the suit back together, I think that's when he's self-reflective and going like, maybe this was not the best plan, but it's the plan it's what I've done, it's what I've committed to. It's working. I'll keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Clench. I really enjoyed your documentary about this guy who reached for his dream. I know for me, definitely, giving myself permission to pursue what I want can be such a task. So, how did you find him and what made you want to tell this particular story?
Hi guys, I'm Clench. I'm the filmmaker of the film Masauti, and I really have this heart of telling untold stories, and my love for music has given me this opportunity. Really, like I knew about Masauti even before, because coming from the coast originally, I knew about his journey and everything, and I was so intrigued. I was so interested to tell his story because he's like the first person from that county to make it in Nairobi, and in music, and I wanted to tell the story from my perspective, from the coast, like to my people, and to a wider range of people, whereby they had to understand, like, you can come from anything and you can get this gift, and it's about you constantly doing it all the time without even like complaining and everything, and that's how I came up with the story. And I wanted to do a short docu, because I wasn't really known, and I wanted to like pass the message directly so fast to people, and I like short things, so yeah.
I like short things too. I mean, so I think thinking theme-wise and just where you guys came from, my next question would be, where were you, by yourselves, where were you in your in yourselves, not just your filmmaking journey, but where were you that made you really resonate with that, you know, with that story?
I think questions of just religion really interests me. How people deal with it, how people like how do you even show it on screen when so that it's not just a good like a good pastor or a bad pastor or or cliches about Christianity or Islam or Hinduism. Just all of that really interests me. So with this one, I was just and even taking back to what the theme is about, like taking power, like how religion interacts with power structures. So that has always really fascinated me, and so that's why this movie was not quite an interrogation of like like it's big ideas of religion. It's just like, what does it look like when one person who is dealing with faith takes advantage of that? So it's more those like small human interactions. Like I'd really like to see what Kanyari goes on to do like after the end of this short film. Like now when he has that time to think about the bad things he's doing, like that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about in my own life, and that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Clench, that question, but also there is another question for you from WG. She says, really fantastic production quality and great story. And are there more short documentaries to come?
Thank you. And yes, but the problem is we are short on funding. So if we get funded, we can do more and a lot. We have a lot of stories to tell, like a new one. You know?
I think that's true in general. Give us money and we'll spend it on filmmaking.
Good filmmaking, not just spend it, you know.
Amen.
Like they tell stories that really matter. Yeah.
Nice. Sam? Okay. Again, yes, I think he's having connectivity issues, which is awful. But I'll hold the fort until he's, you know. And if not, then you're just gonna have to talk to me. I'm sorry, guys. It's just me. Let's see. Oh, but there's lots of love for the films, guys. Okay. Is there anything that you would like to talk about, you know, regarding your work or the process or what it makes you feel? I want to know what you felt about each other's films, actually, and whether you could find the through lines, you know?
I actually haven't seen. I was trying to watch it right before this, but I wasn't able to really watch Clench's film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've watched your film, Tony. Love it. I love it. I love the poses. I love the dramatic poses. I love the main actor. He's good. He's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would like to talk about. I would like to give a big shout out to the MVP of the movie, who is Justin Karunguru. Is the pastor. Just he made the movie. Like you can write the thing, you can direct the thing, but if you don't have the right person, it just fails. So shout out to Justo.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how you did you write it with him in mind, and then how did you get him to say yes, or did you just say, "This is my jam, doing it"?
I've worked with Justo before. I love working with him just because there's something about his face where he doesn't have to say a word, but he can tell you how he's feeling. And that's just like he makes up for, like, if your writing is bad, Justo can just like look at the camera and it's okay, and he can do bad things, but because of also that quality, people will still be tuned into him as a character and still follow his journey. So I love working with Justo. Also, he's just very funny. He's very, very funny. So yeah, we worked together before, and I hope to keep working with him for ages. Yeah.
Because it's about relationships, no? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you find someone who you work with well, stick with them. Stick with them. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Words to live by.
Mhm.
Clench, how did you meet Masauti? Like, I want to know that story.
okay. So I met him through my bro, my big bro. My big bro, his name is John. He's a DJ in the coast. So it's easy to get artists through him. So I go to tell him my story, and he was so willing to give me his. I didn't even know he had his number. You know, like he gave me his number. I called him up. I talked to his management, and everything was okay because he loved the story too, and he was in the same like energy last year. So we bonded.
Nice. Tony, question for you. Your characters were really sympathetic. Will there be a Magda story?
Did you say a Maggie story?
Magda.
Oh, Magda story. I would love to. I always wondered, like, those women who came into Kanyaris, the ones, like, because they were like he had like a crew of actors who just would, a cast. He had a cast. Like, where do they live? I mean, why is this such a gig you do on Sundays and then the rest of the week you go to your office job? But like, why do you do this? I find that so interesting.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like if like what Clench was saying, if you give us money, there'll be a Magda movie. Just give us money.
Give
At
us
least
one.
not fundraising for a Magda movie.
Yeah,
Is that what we're saying?
That's
Okay,
good.
we need to start putting together like a little campaign for the Magda movie.
Actually, yeah, Tony, think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for that, I think. Another question for both of you. Any tips for emerging filmmakers during times of COVID?
Clench.
Okay, for me, I can say if you're a filmmaker, you are born to film. Like if you stop, then you stop become a filmmaker. So I'll say just keep filming and you never stop. Because if you stop, you're not a filmmaker anymore, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, I say write. You can do that from home. Yeah, just write. Yeah, that's it. Just practice writing. That's it.
I'm going to throw my lot in there. I would say find a way to exercise your muscle. If it's writing, if it's just taking up photography, if it's shooting tiny little clips with your phone, the thing that keeps the filmmaking muscle alive, do that. Because I know that I really feel like my filmmaking muscles are aching, you know, and I try to get into the habit of writing. I mean, sometimes I fail, but I have a trajectory, you know, I have a something. So writing, I mean, you're really intense, Clench. I love that. And I was like, listen, you're either making your films or you're dying. And and I do, no, but I completely respect that though. I do. Because you have to keep at it. If you do not have momentum for your film, it dies. You're the one who has to have momentum for your film. There is no one who's going to have momentum for your film for you. So yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And it can be anyone, you
know? Yeah.
Yeah, who has that?
Maybe we should make some films about guinea pigs, guys. I've recently become the custodian of guinea pigs. Maybe I should do like a David Attenborough thing, you know, with my phone. And we would go, in the backyard wilderness, we have these bizarre creatures. I don't know. Maybe. You know?
It can work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that I would make an amazing David Attenborough. This is not what I thought I was going to be doing. But we don't.
Hi, guys.
Sam, hello.
Hi, Sam.
I think
So
if you want money, someone's looking at me with evil eye.
Hopefully the evil eye has passed, and I'm going to hand over to you now. Guys, thank you so much for indulging me. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye, Howard.
Yeah. Apologies, everyone. Hey, I had data on my phone. I had wireless internet, and both decide not to work. Okay, where are we? Oh, there we are. How are you guys? Fantastic. So,
How are you?
yeah, what did I miss?
A bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I loved your film, Tony. I loved your film, Clench. They're both really interesting. I like the fact that one's a fiction film and one's a non-fiction film, which is quite interesting. And then seeing them in the context of this taking power, umbrella, I'm quite curious actually. So for Clench, why did you find the subject of Masauti interesting to profile?
I guess I'm in love with underground stories that have power. So he's one of them, and he's every day, as in, he's always proving to me that how amazing he is, because he's constantly doing it. So that's the power to me.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Because I made some notes. So like, for me, it felt like his access created, due to the popularity is what gave him the power, because he was in a very underprivileged situation before. And so just that access gave him the power. Did he have, do you feel like he had the power before, or was it after? Was my interpretation different on that?
He had the power in him, but I feel like there's usually that boost you get in life that gets you to everything that you've always wanted, And for him, he has been in the industry, like he's been singing ever since he was a kid, and I've been like even seeing him when I was young, like hearing about him, and now coming up, like making his film has been, I don't know, like I'm so happy that I'm telling his story, and a story of which like a lot of his guys there were so pumped and was so like, as in you gave a lot of hope to many of his guys at home, and that was so important to me.
Okay. Well, let's switch over to Tony quickly. So your film, which I've watched, I think this is the third time, because I watched it at, I think it was a DocuBox, and then I also watched it in Uganda, and I watched it, for the purposes of this session. And each time I'm quite surprised by the angle you took. Religion is an interesting side of things in terms of power dynamics. And for me, when I observe this pastor, he starts off trying to pump himself up. He has no confidence. And, he goes through this journey. And by the end of it, stuff has happened and he's going through this interesting arc. So I just want to know, what was your reading of him when you started writing, of the pastor, that is, the character?
It was mostly just thinking. I think I was saying just a little earlier. Because it began with Kanyari, and what was Kanyari like before he made it. It was mostly just like it was my thinking of Kanyari like back then. So it was a bit like power. Not, I guess power hungry is wrong. Just like, I need to make it. I need to eat. I need to not be sleeping while I'm sleeping. It's just I need to get out of the circumstances I'm in. I'm tired of hustling. I'm tired of fighting. And then then this opportunity presents itself. He sees someone on TV who he thinks like, I want to be like that guy, and so he's trying. That's the vision. I don't think he wants to lie to people, to cheat people, to manipulate people. It's just a means to an end, and hopefully, I don't think that he expects the outcome he has in the end. Yeah.
Okay. I like the idea of means to an end, and both these characters of the pastor and of Masauti, they both are using the different professions to get to a certain goal. And in your opinion, Tony, what is his goal? Like his eventual goal?
I think to be the guy on TV, to be the guy people look up to the guy who earns money the right way. I think I like making movies about people who are like innately good, but then they make bad choices. Because I think that's mostly how, I in my experience, that's kind of how life is. Bad people don't support bad people. So just to be like the good thing he sees on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Clench, what do you think Masauti's one is?
Can you repeat the question, sorry?
Like his goal in life, like from what your observation. Yeah.
For me, it's more like I wrote something when I made the film. I can read it to you.
Oh, please.
I wrote the fact that you're different and from a different place doesn't mean you have to change yourself for acceptance. As in, that's actually him. As in, he didn't have to change his accent. He didn't have to speak Shang. He just had to be himself and like humble the way he is. As in, that's for me.
That is quite interesting because for me, I feel like the pastor is trying to be something else to make it. So which is quite.
The goal is still making it.
Sorry?
The goal is still making it.
I mean,
That's true.
Way.
I guess the end justifies the means, but really at the end of the day, it's just navigating through life and figuring out, okay, I like to think of life like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu match. Like you're always trying to find some way to maneuver or to kind of like get an upper hand on life. Because life feels like the opponent at the end of the day. And in this power struggle, it's either you or life. One of them is going to win. And so each of us employs different strategies to get to that place where we're on top. But I don't know whether it's conceited for us to think that we can outmaneuver life. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, COVID will tell us you can try. Good luck.
No, but like I don't know. Like a lot of these characters that we deal with in life and we write about, they're trying to be something, and sometimes even when you're trying to be good, there are missteps you make in the process because you can't be like in being good. You're always like you can't please everyone at the end of the day, So I feel like it's the interesting thing for me is how your characters maneuver through this world and why they choose the strategies they choose to achieve their sense of power in this life. For Clench or Tony, which one? Whichever.
Tony can start.
You go.
Okay, Tony, go.
Okay. Why he does? It's basically the question is like why he does what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like I said. I think it's just survival. It's wanting to be something, wanting to make it, wanting to break out of the hustle. It's all of those things. But I think also it's sometimes I think when I watch a movie or I'm making one, I think when you do the math for the like the through line of the story or like the tactics and all of those things. But sometimes I feel like when I was writing, it's just like that felt right. So I'm not able to like give you a succinct distilled version, like answer to like he did that thing for this reason. I can just like almost in general, and then at least that's how I think when I'm in the middle of the making of the whole thing. So maybe my answer won't be as good as Clench's.
For me, it's a way out, because I feel like anyone, like even you, like Sam, anyone, you go through whatever you go through to get to whatever you want to get through. But for Masauti, for him was having this success enabled him to like climb stages to maybe a Grammy if he wanted to get a Grammy, and I know he wants to get a Grammy, like to stages that he wants to get to. So I feel like he does what he does mostly because of recognition, which can be underlined as fame, but to him it's not fame, it's actually monetizing his talent. Yeah.
Good. It's interesting when you say monetizing talent, both these characters are using money to achieve a certain end. And do you feel like, I mean, for the pastor, it's clear that he has these obstacles. He has the young girl who's obviously in need of a miracle. Then there's the fake plant, and then there is the gangster who wants money for his boss. And all these are obstacles, and all of them in some way are tied in with the money. And for Masauti, there's also the need to get the money to lift himself out of poverty, or, pay back his mother for the investment that she gave, for him, which I find rather interesting. So for Tony, I have a question. Do you believe that he believes in the work that he's doing, the pastor? Does he really believe in this work?
No, I think I think at some point he did, and then he saw the opportunity. I like to think that he began by being a good Sunday school boy, and then at some point he looked around and saw that he was still in the same place, believing the same things, and then he tried something else. But that's kind of why I stopped the backstory, because just from a writing perspective, I think if you spend too long in backstory, you'll just live there. So I kind of just this is enough for me, and then I just started writing. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Just a note to everyone: if you're tuned in, thank you for coming and for watching these wonderful projects. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We will see them, and we're here for you. We're here to answer all the questions, and whether it's about the films themselves or it's about power and all these things. So I want to just pivot to you guys as filmmakers. Do you feel like filmmaking is a way for you to exercise your power in this world? And how?
Yes,
Clench.
it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it depends what kind of genre you pick, and I can say you can tell a story through anything that moves, basically, like anything cinema, So it is a tool, and you can use it as a tool. And you asked us why, right?
Or how?
Or how?
Yeah.
How? Okay. How? Okay. You can make films about things that are really pestering you as a person, and that can be something, and it can change a lot if it's a meaningful topic, So maybe Tony has more for that,
Yeah. I'm actually very, very passionate about telling our stories where they're not based in just the ideas that you see on things like CNN, where our stories are not wildlife, witchcraft, starving children, floods. I really want. I think even if it's not shown to anyone outside of Kenya, like this, I think it's important for us to make work that shows us as we are, like where we are weird, we are dumb, we are bored, we make rice and the rice is chicanas, even the mundane in our lives is important, and it's important for us to see that, and besides all the other images that are shown of us by other people. Unfortunately, it's easier to make a movie, especially that will travel outside of Kenya, if it has some kind of pain, our pain or our struggle attached to it. And I think it's important that, one, for us to see ourselves as we are, because that just tells us we're important and we're valuable, but then also to send those stories outside so that people can see us as full human beings and not just people who are attached to some kind of pain. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll take on some of the questions in the chat. Some of the comments. some of the questions. So WG says, really fantastic production quality and great story, Clench. Are there more short documentaries to come?
I think we answered that.
Oh, you did. Sorry. Again, in case I probably jumped in too late. Oh, wow. Yeah.
We told that person that we need more funding.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, as a filmmaker, what's your point of origin when it comes to documentary filmmaking? For example, like you started this subject, when you started tackling the story of Masauti, what was the process like? Where did you come from to get to the point where you did? Or should I might make it much simpler? What's the inspiration behind doing a documentary about Masauti?
Okay. So for me, it's his story again. The story is so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
The process was so amazing because we got to like go like way before like everything, way before his hit song with Calligraph, like way before anyone knew who he was. Like it was so amazing because we got to discover songs that were not even that amazing, but and we got to meet the family, which was so amazing because they love what he does, and it's clear that he got the blessing from them. And we also got to go to his home and meeting his family and meeting him he's a really great guy. And I was so fortunate to tell his story. That's what I can say.
Okay. Wow. So here's a question that's come in. Considering current events in the world, how might your ideas for future films have changed? And this is for both of you. We'll start with Tony.
Well, I was trying to shoot something else next June, but that I don't think that will happen just because production is. I don't know how we're going to do production in the future. We'll figure something out. But for now, it's just I feel. I don't know, how do you do a crowd scene? How do you do a scene where there's hugging? I don't know. I honestly don't know. How it's changed, like just the conception of ideas. It's honestly it hasn't, because all the ideas I had were still involved people touching people being in the same room. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm hoping we'll figure this out as this thing keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah. Clench, what do you think?
I'm with Tony with that because we can't control God's work. Like if you're in here, you have to be in here, you know. But nevertheless, we've tried, like we've even seen outside people trying to create like shots, like competition for just staying indoors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like people even see that cannot really work because you cannot confine a creator to just do just make a film about this room, you know. Like people want to go to the woods, people want to see, like people want to use scenes in libraries, you know, but you can't go to the library now, you know. So we're just hoping everything goes back to normal soon. Yeah.
I mean, when you say that like there's only so much you can do in one place, and also the novelty of it, I don't know, it just, there's a way in which you just die. I don't know if I'm being pessimistic, but it just feels like after a certain point there are only so many corners in my house that I can film, you know. So I was writing a short film and it has 3 characters, you know. Unfortunately, they are sort of in close proximity, but at least they're less than 5. However, you have a crew of like 10 humans. So, you know, how is that working? You know, like managing all that during production is difficult as a producer, you know. So it's...
How do you even mic someone? How do you go and put a mic on people now?
Well,
You can teach someone to make themselves, but it's like an actor's job is not to go and worry about if I put this thing properly. It's like,
What if it clips on that?
And
well, I think there must be a way, and I think it's people are starting to figure out certain ways to do it. I know that there are a couple of productions in Nairobi that are filming. Yes, it is reduced production staff and things, and there's social distancing, but it is happening. I don't know how sustainable it is for the future, because if you have a situation where you have to get insurance for all the crew and cast, that's an extra cost. They have to get tested. You have to quarantine them. You have to socially distance them or physically distance them. That means you're shooting longer hours because, a scene, what you would have shot in a day, you probably have to shoot over a day and a half. So, it's interesting, but we'll navigate. That's what humanity does. There is another question. Any plans to elevate some of the emerging stories or themes during the pandemic?
Sorry, say that again, please.
Any plans to elevate some of the emerging stories / themes during the pandemic? I think if I understand the question correctly, Christine, what I understand from Christine's question is that any circumstances or situations that arise as a result of this pandemic, So yeah, things we're dealing with, what's new in the environment now as a result of the pandemic that, are there plans to elevate some of that material?
I currently do not have any plans, but I don't know, maybe in the future.
Yeah, same here. Because you're so tired, There's so less that you can do right now, even if you want to,
Okay. Question for you both. Let's say pandemic is done, you're ready to shoot. What's the next thing you would do? Like, what's the next project that you would work on?
I'm trying to shoot a feature film. I want to make my first one. That's my goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're shooting it in Kenya or?
Yes. Yes, definitely Kenya.
Okay. Clench, what about you?
I'm working on a horror short. I'm still doing short films, Tony. So you can call me on that long feature. But I'm working on a short. I'm working on a horror short. A horror short film.
Yeah.
And apparently I talked about the library, which I need. So you guys, if you know someone who has a library, I can use. So
the guys at Book Bank have a library. A couple of libraries that they deal with. Yeah. So you might want to get in touch with them.
Hey, ask and you will receive. Nice.
Yeah. And your joy shall be complete. Yeah. So guys, if there are no other questions, I've run out of things to ask. As embarrassing as that sounds. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to any work you want to talk about, any future projects, anything you want the audience to know about, where to follow you, Yeah, just let us know.
I just want to say thank you, Manyata. I love just being part of Kenyan showing Kenyan things. It's great. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And social media handles, things like that.
I mean, I have them, but I'm not a social media guy. Just follow Tony Koros, but I won't do anything. Yeah. There's nothing to follow.
Okay. And Clench?
For me, it's thank you, Manyata, for this opportunity, and it's been amazing. I go to meet a lot of people. Even I go to meet Tony. I go to meet you, Sam. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Manyata. And you can follow me at Uncle Clench. Uncle_Clench, please. 1 to 3 sketches. You can also follow 1 to 3 sketches if you want to. That's where I put out a lot of things. Yeah. So.
Okay. So do you sketch as well? Is that it?
The sketches are more, no. The sketches are more of they're videos. Like they call them sketches because they're short.
I've seen them. It now makes. Also, that's on YouTube as well. I think I saw that.
That's on YouTube.
All right, people. You heard that. You heard the people. Thank you guys for your amazing work. Thank you, audience, for being here with us and enduring me as well with my my mishaps. But the wonderful thing about this space is that wherever you are, you can tune in to Manyata screenings. There's another session tomorrow, and on Saturday and Sunday. All these the posts are moderated by Rogue Film Society, which is a collective of writers, filmmakers, producers, directors. Yes, that's us. Thank you, Manyata screenings, and thank you, everyone, and we wish you a good night.
Thank you.